I want to really explore or venture into your capacity. How many clients can you take on? How much time, as I've said, do you have for this work? So I'd love you to look at your schedule or look at your days and your weeks and to think conservatively. It's important to think conservatively. How much time do you actually have for this? Bearing in mind, you obviously need time for yourself, whether that's your own practice, going to the gym, whatever that might be. You need time for, it could be other studies, it could be work commitments, and then you obviously need time for friends and family. So when you weigh all of that up, what does your day look like? What do your days look like? What does your weeks look like? How much actual time to spare do you have that could now become your life coaching time? That's a really important thing to consider. One thing that helps me, and I'd love to share it with you now, and I'm kind of conscious that in this space of transition where you are now and moving into this career, you become your own boss, your own leader, essentially. And it is really, really important that you take a level of personal leadership, because at the end of the day, you are your most important asset. You are the driving force of your business. And so taking real leadership with yourself and real responsibility is so key. And I'm sure, as you've kind of gathered from these videos with me, is I really like simple tools that pay a strong dividend. And one of the biggest ones that I have taken an enormous value from is having a schedule. And that's something really simple. It's like if you go back to school days, it was your timetable. But for me, a schedule is incredible. And I like literally note into it when I sleep, when I get up, my breakfasts, my lunches, all my different commitments, my priorities. And the reason being is, at the most formative level, it gives me an idea of how much time I actually have to spare. When I have commitments, obviously all of those need time. So as I slot them in to make sure I actually dedicate that time to them and get whatever needs to be done, I'm always kind of blown away by how little time I actually have. And one thing that's beautiful that comes from this is it helps me be much more decisive and conservative with regards to whatever I take on. I hear an offer, something comes to me, and I look at my schedule and I go, okay, I do have time for this, but I only have so much time. And if I take this on, that's all I'll have time for. That changes the way I make decisions. And oftentimes it's really been complementary to me. It helps me be present with whatever I take on. And it helps me be conservative in terms of really looking at whatever it is that I go to take on and think to myself, do I want this? Do I really want this? Is this the best use of my time? So if you don't keep a schedule already, I would encourage you to really look at this. And if you do keep a schedule, I would pat you on the back and say, schedule all the more, because it's something that just brings so much value. Now, with your schedule and having taken a really constructive look at it, as I said, I would love you to ask yourself, or to look at it and see, okay, how much time do you have to dedicate to your life coaching time? Bear with me, I just want to turn something off on my computer. Done. And with that understanding of how much time you have for your coaching practice, that essentially becomes your capacity. Now don't worry, if it's like 2-3 hours a day, that's perfect. Or it might be 2-3 hours a day on average, but some days you do more and some days you do less. Again, that's completely fine. To give you an idea of me personally, I dedicate 3 hours a day to my coaching practice. And that's not a drawback. Actually, being conservative with the amount of time you have makes you think much, much more productively. And I am really productive with this work, and it's really served me well. Also, anybody that I've examined or worked with, time is something that they're also conscious of in terms of how much time they put in and what they get out as a result of that. So I would always think that it's not a bad thing if you have only a little amount of time. It will change the way you think, and I would be very sure it will have you thinking much more productively. Now, once you've built out your schedule, once you've clearly identified how much time or capacity you have for this work, I'd love you to reflect on your last session, where we examined what a coaching session looks like and with regards to your packages, how often you host them. And that's where this gets exciting. I would love you to look at your existing capacity for this business and divide your sessions into them. So what that looks like for me is, as I said, I have 3 hours a day for my coaching practice. I work Monday to Friday. I work for clients for 60 to 90 minutes, so let's say conservatively 90 minutes. I work with clients every 2 weeks, so I work in 2-week cycles with clients. So me at capacity is 10 clients. 1 client each day, repeating every 2 weeks, allows for 10. Now, of course, there's another 90 minutes, but I do need some time for admin. I do need some time for reflection. I do need some time to work on my business. So that was a decision I made. I only ever wanted to work with 1 client a day. So as I said, I divided my one-to-one coaching offering into the capacity that I have for this business. I have 3 hours a day. I do need about an hour and a half for admin. And that allows 1 coaching call a day. I repeat them every 2 weeks. So it allows me to take on one client every day for week 1, a new client for every day week 2, and then they repeat, they cycle over. And figuring that out for me was huge, as in knowing that me at capacity is 10 clients. At that point, I'm done. I can't take on any more. And I'd like you to do the same. As I said, I would like you to look at your schedule, look at how much time you have. I would like you to look at your one-to-one offering. I would like you to divide your schedule by your one-to-one offering and see how many sessions you can do. And if, as I said, it's you only have so much time, you can only do one client a day, that's okay. That's absolutely perfect. For me, I'm a big believer in quality over quantity. I don't believe in doing many sessions a day. I think it's so important that you show up as your best self with your clients. But what's really, really key is that I want to put some shape on your business. As I said, I want to put some real shape in terms of your input, as in how much time are you giving to this business? And what's really, really nice is once you know what you're putting in, it's very, very easy to measure what you're getting out. The enemy here, and the enemy for businesses, is a lack of schedule, a lack of understanding around time. When that kicks in, things can get really challenging. You can end up spending loads of time in the business sometimes, and then no time other times. And it is very, very hard when there is a variable input to know what you're getting out of the business relative to what you're putting in, as in knowing the return on your investment. So this is perhaps a little bit more complicated than other sessions, and I really do hope you've got a good read. My kind of ideal learning outcome is that you know how much time you have available for your coaching business and what your capacity is. That's what I would love you to sit with off the back of this. And as I said, if you can finish this session now and know, aha, I have an hour or 2 a day throughout the week for this business, that's my capacity. And then you can take your offering and put it in and know, okay, I have capacity for 10 clients at a time, or for 12, or for 15, or for however many. That's what I really want you to have. And I can tell you, if you have that, from my experience, you are better off than 90% of the coaches out there who really haven't zoned in on this enough. So that's the exciting thing for me now, is to hopefully leave you finishing with a clear idea in terms of, 1, the time that you have, and ultimately speaking, your overall capacity. If you've got that, you are so, so good and so, so sorted for going forward.